Here's a quick overview of our automation features. But before we go to the automation tab, let's say you want to create a very short sequence. Someone subscribes to your pop-up or your form, and then they get an email with a PDF file. The way to do that is you go to Forms, create a form here, or click the form's name, if you already created one, of course. Make sure double opt-in is turned on so that you see double opt-in email and double opt-in thank you page. Click double opt-in email. This is the email your subscribers will get once they subscribe to that form. You can put in your PDF here, but they will not be subscribed until they press this button. So it's less risky to actually put your double opt-in in the thank you page, which will show up after they click this confirm your email button. So let's go here. You can edit this page right over here and create something like this. Here's your download, and link this to your PDF file. Of course, you need to have that PDF file on your Dropbox or your Google Drive, and you can create a little link like this, or you can put the download in a button like this. You can, of course, just use your own landing page if you already have one with that PDF file or with that other file that you have prepared for your subscribers. Okay, and that's it. Very simple. They subscribe, they get an email asking them to confirm the subscription. After they confirm, they get sent to a page with the PDF file. But let's say you want to create something more complicated. Well, then you can go ahead and use this automation button here, and this will show you all the automations that are connected with this specific form. And we have one connected with this form, and of course we can create more by clicking this button here. And let's do that right now. So when you actually click that create automation from the form itself, what happens is automatically the trigger for this automation will be when subscriber joins this pop-up. And I'm going to click this, and it will show this trigger when subscriber joins the form, and it will show the name of the form. And the name I gave this form was pop-up with automation. Of course, we have different other options. When a subscriber joins a group, this is a very popular one. When a subscriber completes a form, this is the one I'm actually using right now. That was started automatically when I clicked create automation within that pop-up. When a subscriber clicks a link. Now this is a wonderful one. For example, if I put in MailerLite.com here and use this link, what happens is if I use this link in any single email that I send, once my subscriber clicks that link, they will get this whole automation here, which is not, of course, built out yet, but I'll show you how to do that in a moment. But once you build out that automation and once your subscribers click this specific link in any of your emails, they will get this whole automation. And we have other triggers like update a field. Now, what happens here is you can select one of your custom fields. The custom fields are the fields that you have in your database, the information you have about all of your subscribers. If you don't have much information, you might not be able to use this. But in this case, what you need to do is, for example, country, select contains, and you can just, put in a country here. Let's say United States. And the moment one of your subscribers gets that field updated, and it has these words, and it contains United States, well, they will get this whole workflow. You can, of course, choose another field like the name or the last name, and there are a lot of options you can use here. Now, another trigger would be the anniversary of a date. And again, for this to work, you need to have a date field, and you need to have that date field filled up. So you're going to choose the group, select one of your subscriber groups, and I'm going to go with secret landing page. And now use this date field on or before. I want to use the birthday field, so I want it to be, let's say, 1 day before. I'm going to select the field, and I have created a custom field. I named that field birthday, so I have that field. And then that's it. You click save, and what happens is 1 day before the birthday field, you will get this whole workflow. You can do a couple of days, right? A week before the birthday, you can have a couple of emails go out, and the last one can go on the day of the birthday saying happy birthday to your subscribers. Of course, again, you not only need to have this field, but you need that field to be filled out with the date of the birthday of all of your subscribers. That's when this will work. Now let's click this again, the anniversary of a date. And like I said, you can use this for a birthday, and this automation will actually go out every single year. Now, if you don't want it to go out every single year, but you want it to go out only once, then you just use the exact match of a date. And again, just choose your group. I'll just use webinar July for this. And I'll go on before again, let's say 3 hours before, and select the field birthday. This will go out only once in this case. But let's go back to when a subscriber joins a form, and let's use that pop-up form we were using just a moment ago. It was called pop-up with automation. So we're going to leave it as it was, and then we can add, for example, an email. Your PDF file. We need to design the email, and I'm just going to go with the standard drag and drop editor here. Of course, you'll be editing all of these things here, probably adding that PDF to this button. And once you're done, just go ahead and click Done Editing. And there you go. So this is what you can use if you're not using double opt-in for some reason. Of course, I highly suggest you use the double opt-in. And if you use a double opt-in and don't want to put in that thank you message, well, you can use this. And then after they subscribe, they will get another email with this PDF file. And that's that. You can turn on the automation over here. There we go. And now if we go back over here, these are the automations. This is the one I just created. If we go to Forms, go to that pop-up with automation, click Automation, and here are the two automations with this one that is active. And I'm going to pause it for now. Now let's go back to automations for a second. And here I have a whole list of automations, and I can also use folders. I can put them in different folders, add folders, edit folders. I can also filter these through the subscriber group. I can choose one of the subscriber groups, and through the status, active or paused. Then we can sort by created date, by the name, the trigger, the status, the email sent, the open rate, and the click rate. This is the date created, so I have the ones that were created first on top, and the ones that were created, the oldest ones are on the bottom. And I can change this around. If I want to have the oldest one on top, I just click this button here, and it's switched around. I'm going to click it again. There we go. And I'm going to create a new workflow. This time I'm going to choose when subscriber joins a group. But before I continue with this, I just wanted to show you one more thing here. You might see this, you might not see this. If you have the e-commerce activated that works with some of the e-shops like Shopify, you will see this additional tab here. And with this additional tab, you can select abandoned checkout. When someone abandons the cart, purchases any product from your shop, purchases a specific product, or purchases from a category. These are some additional settings you'll see if you have that integration set up. But let's just go back to the regular integration here. When a subscriber joins a group, that's what I chose. I'm going to choose one of these groups. Let's go ahead and choose that secret landing page. There we go. And if we click here, repeat workflow for subscribers who rejoin the same group, this means that after a subscriber uses or joins this automation, this whole workflow goes through it, and they rejoin that group, in this case it's the secret landing page group, they will get that whole automation again. You might want to use that for some reason. If you do, just go ahead and check here. And if you have the e-commerce integration, you will also see this active e-commerce tracking for this workflow. And you can use this if needed. I don't need any of these two for now. You can rename my workflow secret workflow, and I'm going to go ahead and click save. Now I can create an email. We have 4 options: email, delay, condition, action. I'll go with email, give it a name. I'm just going to call it first email. I'm going to design the email here. Of course, you let your subscriber know who it's from, the email address. If you want to use Google Analytics, just checkbox here. The language, I'm just going to leave English. Design email. And I'm going to go with recent emails. And instead of sent, I'm going to go with automations. And I'm going to use this last email that I use for my automation. Of course, you edit it to your liking. Click Done Editing once you're done. That's the first email. Now I'm going to copy it and copy it again. And I'm going to go ahead and change the names. Of course, this is not how I would call my emails, second, third, or first, but this is just for the purpose of this tutorial. Third, and actually, there we go. Okay, there we have 3 emails. Now what's going to happen now is they're all going to go out at once. We don't want that. We want to create a little delay. And let's do a 1-day delay here. Another one here. This one will be 2 days. And this one will be also 2 days. There we go. So once a subscriber joins this group, they will wait for a day. They will get 1 email. 2 days will go by. They'll get a second email. 2 more days will go by, and they'll get this third email. Then we can add a condition. For example, campaign activity. This is connected with your regular campaigns. So for example, if you're sending a campaign out every once or twice a week and you want this automation to depend on that campaign, well, you can say, for example, campaign activity, select one of your campaigns that went out. I had a campaign called Meet the Team. And if I can say that if it had any link clicked, specific link clicked, was opened and did not have a link clicked, was not opened, was opened, or was opened with no links clicked, I'm going to go with was opened. That's probably the most popular condition. So if that regular campaign was opened, then these subscribers will either go to this group here or this group if they didn't open that regular campaign. I think this is very seldom that we actually use this one. I think the more popular one is workflow activity because it's connected with the emails that are in this specific workflow. So for example, the first email was opened. And when we mean first email, we mean the one in this workflow. We can save that. Let's go to this condition again. Add another condition. And here we can say custom field. So for example, if a custom field, again, we can go with country, contains United States. If this first email was opened, or if the subscriber that is going through this workflow has this field, the country field in the database, if it has United States, then they will also go to this part of the condition. If no, if they didn't meet any of these 2 conditions, well, they'll go to this pile here. And we can add another condition, and let's say group membership, so if they belong to a specific group, or segment membership, if they belong to a specific segment. But we're going to go simple. We're going to change things around here. I'm going to go back to campaign activity, workflow activity, second email, workflow activity, third email, was opened, save. Okay, so in this case, if someone opened the first email, the second email, or the third email, they will go to this pile. If they haven't opened any of the emails, they will go to this pile. Now we can make it more strict. Instead of or, we can say and. So they have to meet all the rules. So they have to open the first email, the second email, and the third email. And actually, let's do that. There we go. Now, there's one problem with this, because once they join this group, 1 day will go by, they'll get the first email. 2 days will go by, they'll get the second email. 3 days, 2 more days will go by, they'll get the third email. And this condition will check whether they opened all these 3 emails. And they're never going to be able to open them on time, because this condition is going to check right away, right after this email is sent. This condition is going to check whether they opened the three emails, and they're not going to be able to probably open this third one in time. So the solution here is you actually need to remember to add another delay here. And let's go for 5 days this time. And now we can build out the other branches of this workflow. So here we can say, for example, we can click action, and if someone goes to this side, so if someone opens all of these emails, then we can choose, we can have a field, a custom field updated. We can copy them to a group, move them to a group, remove them from a group, mark as unsubscribed, or move to another step. So what we're going to do here is we're going to copy to a group, and we're going to select the engaged group because that's where I want them to be added. I'll click save. There we go. And then we can, keep on adding things. Like you can have another email, another one, design it again. I'm just going to go ahead and use the template gallery this time. Just use this email and go ahead and click done editing. And here we go. You can just continue editing while that loads. And now here I can add an action. And if I want to be really aggressive or very extreme, I can just mark them as unsubscribed if they haven't opened any of these emails. Click save. But what I could also do is I could add, for example, another delay here. 2 days, 2 more days. And then I can add another condition here. Please choose where to move the steps below. This step, mark unsubscribed. Well, I'll move it to the red branch here. There we go. And now this condition, I can say workflow activity, first email was opened, or workflow activity, second email was opened, another workflow activity, third email was opened. So instead of and, this time I'm going to have or, because if we go here, it is and. So all the conditions have to be met. In this case, only one of the conditions have to be met. And if they're still not met, if they still, after these 2 days, haven't opened one of these emails, well, I'm marking them as unsubscribed. But what if I want them to go to this pile? What happens if they do open one of those emails? Well, I can, again, choose another action, and I can have them move to another step. And let's do that. Select the step. Delay, action, email. Where do I want them to go? Well, let's say I want them to go to another email. Now, if I select that email, I can select the first one, third one, or that fourth one. That's called another. And you'll see the border around this block changes color, so you can see which one you're talking about. And I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to click this one here because I don't want them to be copied to the group engaged because they're not as engaged as the other people who opened all of the emails, right? So I want them to go straight to this pile. And that's how that will work. Just go ahead and click save. And there we go. Another thing I wanted to show you is once you click any single block, you'll see there is a number that these blocks have. So in case you have a lot more delays, or you want to be sure you're moving the person to the right block, you can just make sure that you remember that specific number of the block, and then just look at it here, because you might have like emails that have similar titles. In that case, you're just looking at the numbers here. Of course, the workflow automatically makes it easy because once you're highlighting these emails, it shows you where you are in the workflow, but maybe you just want to be totally sure, then you can go by these numbers here. All right, I'm going to cancel it this time, and that's pretty much it. We can now turn on the workflow here. And again, someone joins the group, 1 day goes by, they get the first email, second day goes by, 2 more days go by, they get the second email, 2 more days go by, they get the third email, 5 days go by. This automation checks whether they opened all the emails. If they have opened all the emails, they get marked as engaged and get that last email. If they haven't, 2 more days go by. This automation checks if they opened at least one email. If they didn't open one email, they get unsubscribed. And if they have opened at least one email, they get this email again. We have turned on the automation, And now, if there are any people in that group, you will see this link pop up. And you can click that link, and we see that there were 101 subscribers in that group. We can initiate the workflow from the beginning for those subscribers, or we can initiate that workflow from a specific step. We can choose one of these steps, for example, email, and then select those emails. And here is where those numbers come in handy. Okay, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and cancel. You can see the full report because this is just a mini report here. These numbers will start growing once people start going through this automation. You can go to the full report, or you can view the workflow activity here. I'm going to go to the full report. Here we go. The workflow is active. We see the subscribers who have completed the workflow and the subscribers who are in the queue. The numbers will, of course, change. Now they're 0, and you can click these numbers to go straight to the activity tab, to the to the place where they completed the workflow, or to the place where they are queued for the next steps. Total emails sent, opened, clicked. The monthly workflow stats are here, and the emails are here. This might take some time to load. Don't worry about that. The images will load. And this is very good because sometimes if you have a very long workflow and you don't want to look through the whole workflow and find that specific email, well, you can just find those emails right over here. And you can view the report for the specific emails here. And of course, you can also, from this place, just edit the content, the subject line, and download or print the report for that specific email here. Then on the top here, you have the possibility of editing the workflow. So going back to where I was just a moment ago, renaming it, duplicating it, or deleting it altogether. The e-commerce settings are here. If you are using e-commerce, you will see the orders, the total revenue, and the conversions grow here. But we don't have any purchases, so we don't see anything. The activity tab. Very cool. When the subscribers start using this workflow or going through the workflow, you'll see the date, the time of completion. Then you can see the subscribers who are queued, the next step they will be on, and also when they canceled. And if they cancel, all you need to do is checkbox them. If you want to move them back to a step, you can easily do that from this specific place. And the history. This is really cool. I don't have any more steps because this is a new workflow, but normally you would be able to preview, go through the history of that specific workflow. I can preview it. And if I actually was in that workflow a couple of times and I saved it, I would see it here in the history, and I could preview those versions and I could restore that specific workflow. And that is pretty much it. We have gone through all the main features of the workflow. If we go to automations again, and here is the workflow we just created a moment ago. We can pause it if we want. Again, go ahead and edit it. Just a reminder, if you want to add things or delete things, you need to turn off the workflow. And with the group settings, there's one more thing that I forgot to talk about, is the exclude feature. So you can have the people who joined this group go through this workflow, but if you want the people who are part of another group to not go through this workflow, well, you just click exclude and then choose the groups you want to exclude. And in that case, if someone is part of these groups that you exclude and they join this new group, well, they're not going to get this workflow. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to turn on my workflow again and wait for subscribers to join. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and I will see you in the next video. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Please click subscribe, use the little bell icon. You can also catch us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course use the little subscribe link in the description to sign up to our newsletter. Thanks again, and see you in the next video.